Hello and welcome to this special 10-minute tune into you, all about the spine, breaking free of stiffness. So if you feel like you have a bad back, you're carrying kids all the time, it's the holidays, you're carrying gifts, or you're just carrying too much tension, and we don't need to be in any particular season to be feeling that, this is for you. You need no props, just enough space to get down on 2 hands and 2 knees. So if your knees are sensitive, you may need a mat or a big towel. That's it. We're going to build some heat, but mostly because we're going to be giving oxygen and movement to areas of the body that are a little less willing to do that and receive that after time. So this is an experience of giving back to you. So as mentioned, we'll start in all fours. So spread your fingertips wide. Imagine you're going to go up with glove size. You got wide fingers, wide palms. Then palm back and forth a little bit just to make sure I'm evenly distributed from hand to hand. Look down, my knees are underneath my hips. And if you have a mirror like I do or a screen, you're going to see who's underneath hip bones. You're going to always adjust if you want your knees to go wider, or the space between your wrists and knees be smaller. And then from here, we're going into a bit of a classic cat-cow. So if you've ever practiced yoga, you've likely done this, but we're going to do a slight bend in the elbows. And then imagine someone has a string right on your chest, and you're going to pull your chest forward, feel your chest, your throat, and your chin lift. And then push your hands really firmly, so arms get straight, into the floor, around the spine, and look to see your navel, then your knees, and then even the space between your knees behind you. Then we bend the elbows, start to pull the breastbone forward, shoulders are coming away from the ears, so feel the upper arms engage. Chest, throat, chin looks up, then push firmly through the hands, feel the lower belly engage away from your waistband. Push into the floor, look down. Inhale, pull forward, opening the chest. And always wiggle side to side, up and down, get some extra real estate. Then root your hands down, pull your lower belly right in between the hip bones, in and away from your waist and down. Cool. Inhale, pull forward. How long can you make space between your collarbones and your chin? And how tight can you make your upper back? Meaning we're using the muscles of the back to get this range of motion in the front body. Now we're going to be using the muscles in your front body, so your core, your six pack, whatever is happening, those muscles are engaged to lengthen your back body. So one more set with that feeling of we're going to lengthen the front body here in extension by tightening the back body. Then exhale, engage your front body to lengthen your back body. Cool. Then take a minute, reassess. Maybe the fingertips want to turn out. Maybe they want to turn back to face you. These are just going to get into different areas of stretching your wrists, stretching the forearms. Now we're going to start to peek over one shoulder to look at that outer hip, and then go to the other direction. Again, I'm doing a slight bend in the elbows because it tends to create more spaciousness in the side body. We have these little muscles called intercostals, and those are right in between your ribs. And the ribs can sit on top of each other like an accordion. And when we side stretch like this, we create spaciousness, which makes it easier to breathe, stand tall, your clothes fall much more nicely, because they're not catching on to something that's compressed. Now we're just going to start to push back towards your heels. So like child's pose, but really active through your arms looking down. Then bend the elbows. Imagine you could get your nose on the floor, drive it forward, lift your breastbone up. From here, round the spine. Again, engaging the front body to stretch the back body. Push back, lift down. Maybe your nose does touch the floor and you're pushing an invisible marble forward towards your thumbs. Then you lift your chest at the top. And then engage the front body. Really feel your ribs knit towards each other like you got a tight bear hug. Then your nose, maybe it doesn't come to the floor. You're doing a slight bend in the elbows, and your nose is hovering 6 inches off the floor. At the top, keep that slight bend in the elbows. Then really feel some heat in your core here. So it's a lot of secret activity happening, which makes this active flexibility. So sometimes we have a connotation that, oh, I don't have time to stretch, I need to work out, I need to move hard, I need to make a change. And when we're doing and engaging in active flexibility, we're not just lengthening, but we're strengthening our muscles. So the way that we feel in our body changes, and the way that they fit on our body or look to the outside eye changes as well. One more round. Then we're going to start to go back into that looking over one shoulder and then the other action. We're going to turn this entire sequence into a big circle. So you're going to sit your hips back to one heel, push your hips towards the heel closest to your screen, then go to the other. Then bend the elbows, lowering your chest, and then push back. So heel, heel, bend the elbows, start to slide your chest forward, and then sit back. If you are very flexy, you may be getting your nose on the floor, dragging from one wrist to the other, and sitting back. That is not happening in this movement. You're bending your elbows, and your chest is lifted. From here, we're going to make it a bit bigger by pushing into the floor, rounding, and then sitting onto one heel. Then, nose drags along the floor, or pivot, round, scoop through the front body, and sit back. It's more of a half circle. Nose comes down, slide towards the other wrist, push into your hands, underneath one shoulder. Keep rounding, sit back, and do it one more time. Lean forward, nose towards the floor. Drag nose towards the other wrist, the one closest to the screen. Peek underneath that armpit / shoulder, rounding. Shift to the other knee, and then sit back. Now we're going to come all the way up your center, and I'm going to show it from the other side. So I'm turning around just so it's a little bit more clear. So hands to hands. We're going to sit back and onto the heel furthest from the screen. Right, so if I'm in all fours, I'm not shifting my bum towards the screen, but towards the knee furthest from the screen. Bend the elbows slightly, staying low. Hit your nose towards the floor, drag it towards the screen, and then start to round. Keep in the round. Press towards the knee furthest from the screen, sit back onto it. Then inhale, nose comes towards the floor. Shift your nose towards the screen. Round, 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 peeking underneath your shoulder, closest to the screen, and then shift to the knee furthest from the screen. Do that like 3 more times. Inhale, shifting nose along the floor. Exhale, round. Again, so much more core engagement than meets the eye. We're going very slowly, so it's easier to find those nuances. And when we move slowly, we're able to uncover deeper range of motion that we would otherwise not even be able to tap into. Last time, here we go. Exhale. Now we're going to build on that chest opening or thoracic spine right around the rib cage by bending the elbows. They can go wide or straight back, trying to get your chest all the way towards the floor with your bum right over your knees. If that's not happening, you may be lowering your nose. You may be lowering the crown of your head. Then you're going to drag your chest forward up to those almost straight arms and then round. So we're not coming back to child's pose. We're just lowering, dragging forward and up, and then exhale, rounding. Inhale, lower. Maybe it's forehead, then maybe it's nose, then maybe it's chest. Then think of pulling your chest forward as you lift up with the chest. Then anchor your hands, push into the tops of your feet, 2 round, round, round. And then 2 more. Inhale, maybe it's forehead, maybe it's nose, maybe it's chest. Keep inhaling, let your spine really lengthen, and then exhale. Rest if you're going to push the floor away. Then one more time. Inhale, lower, lower, lower. Slightly slide your chest forward. Keep looking forward and then up to where the wall meets the ceiling. And then from here, push back to your heels. Roll up slowly. Wiggle things around. Maybe it feels natural to just check out what's happening. A little bit of a side to side sway. Sitting like this is not comfortable, sit on a block, sit on a chair. Just start to imagine that when you twist your body, it's not from your head, but right here at the ribs, that thoracic spine, we're rotating from side to side. So if we rotate from one direction and then I turn my head, I see a lot farther than if I'm trying to just turn my head, right? Ribs. Oh my God, I see that wall. Whereas if I just turn my head, I maybe get to the corner. Take a moment wherever you're seated or standing, grab onto your elbows, and like we created that side body length, those intercostals right between the rib cage, we're lifting up, up, up in the way to make the space, sitting up super tall, reach the arms up, and then just push something you're ready to let go away. And you are done. Thank you so much for tuning in to you.